let's get into the setup of my brand new writing journal. Hey guys, so day 7, NaNoWriMo, we are going to do something a little bit different than our normal vlogs because we are going to do our HB Notebook Challenge. But again, since this is part of NaNoWriMo Diaries and because I'm traveling and I don't have too much to show you beyond what I showed you in October, we're actually going to be doing something different, and I'm going to be setting up a brand new notebook. I have been struggling, as you've been seeing, to plot the book fast enough. I thought maybe I would pants it, can't really pants it. It's book 12 of the series, just not going to happen. I need to know the scenes. So I was moving on to this poster board, and that is helping me a lot, but I feel like I need a dedicated space. And since I don't have my plotting planner with me, my happy planner that I usually bring, I was thinking that this could serve multiple purposes. So you'll see me set it up. This is a Look Term 1917, which you may have seen in the bullet journal world, but instead of being a dot grid journal, this one is actually a lined journal, and you'll see why I chose that. You could really use either one, but when you start to see the interior, I think the lines will work out better for me. But this, I think, will be a good solution. I went to the Barnes & Noble you saw in my vlog from yesterday or a couple of days ago, and I was looking at all the notebooks and I started thinking, oh my gosh, just like a little light bulb went off. What if creating a journal that also could become a memoir of me on the road with my family, writing the final book in my series? I think that could be something that I would look back on in my writing career later in the future and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I chronicled that. Now, I have been, as you've seen in the videos so far, I've been tracking my word count in a lot of different places. I have my Preptober planner in my iPad. I also have a Notion journal, and I also am tracking it on the NaNoWriMo website, and that is kind of excessive. I also have an app on my phone. It's definitely excessive. I don't need so many places to track it. But the reason that I've been trying different ways is because I don't have my normal system. And so I'm trying out different things. And so I think I would just want to put this little bit of encouragement out there that sometimes as we are trying to produce things in the most efficient way possible, and we're trying to create systems as quickly as we can and be as efficient as we can, we sometimes can feel rushed to pick a system. Like, okay, this is what everybody does, this is what I'm gonna do. And we try to force ourselves into it, like trying to fit a square into a round peg, or however they say that, a round peg into a square hole, I think is what they say. I don't know. I think sometimes we feel the pressure to pick a system quickly, so we don't take the time to really find the system that works for us. Plus, we feel excessive trying lots of different things, but I am trying to find that magical thing that will not only help me to feel motivated, but that will help me get my thoughts out of my brain and onto paper as quickly as possible. And sometimes, I don't know why this is, I just love new things and the feelings of fresh starts, and there's a lot of momentum and energy that comes with that. Sometimes starting something brand new that you've never done before can help to get that motivation going and to make me want to stick to something a little bit longer. So I'm going to set this up for you guys today. I actually set it up last night, so I'll show you how I set it up. And over the months, I will show you how this begins to progress. Obviously, I won't be able to show you all the plotting pages, but I can show you the sprint trackers and some of the character pages. And most excitingly, I can show you this daily journal that I'm going to be keeping in this notebook. And I'm really, really excited about it. And so that is the first thing. Second thing, I wanted to go ahead and mention our diverse read for the month. I also picked this up at Barnes & Noble. I have been wanting to read this book for a while, and since it is Native American Heritage Month, I wanted to choose a novel written by a Native American, and I'm switching up the genre on us a little bit this month as well, because I usually pick romances or young adult. This time we are going full horror with The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. He is a prolific horror writer, but this is the very first novel that I've picked up from him. I believe he's like a Bram Stoker Award winner and so many different accolades that he's won before. So he's won a Bram Stoker Awards, 4 This Is Horror Awards. He's been a finalist for the Shirley Jackson Award. I have been so excited to read this because I've heard it is chilling and very, very thrilling. So here is the back cover blurb for this book. A tale of revenge, cultural identity, and the cost of breaking from tradition in this latest novel from the Jordan Peele of horror literature, Stephen Graham Jones, seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary. The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth, which I have to say, I love that trope basically, or if you want to call it universal fantasy, but people that have been through something in their youth together that kind of binds them together, that's been like a secret their whole lives that's coming back for them. Love that. A disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on revenge, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. This is from Simon & Schuster. I grabbed it at the Barnes & Noble. I think it came out last year, 2020, but I've seen it everywhere and I'm so excited to read it. You can also get this on Audible. So I will leave all the links to that below. And I did actually pick up a book on Audible by another Native American writer. So I will share that at the end of this video. But let's get into the setup of my brand new writing journal. I am so excited to share with you the setup of this new Lookstrom 1917 lined journal. A lot of the times when you see this journal, it's dotted, but I grabbed the lined one. This journal I used to use all the time when I was bullet journaling. It does ghost really like badly, and the paper is more of a cream paper, but it's just kind of that nostalgia, which I feel like I need right now. And I, in some ways, am, understanding that setting up a new system or a new planner right now is very much a procrastination technique right in the middle of NaNoWriMo. But I will say that I have been trying to really get in touch with my emotions. And I think that overall, I've been just a little bit scared to start the final book in this series. It's like a decade plus of my work, and I didn't really, because of all the moving around, have time to emotionally prepare myself or even plot-wise prepare myself for this. So I think starting a new system is going to not only help me document the process, but also feel motivated and comforted. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that it works and that I stick with it and love it. That first page was just a title page, and now this page is a stats page. There's not really going to be so much for you to see on this page, but hopefully over time I'll be able to share a lot more of how it comes together. But I'm putting my word count goal here, 115 to 120,000 words. I'm also going to have like production goals in terms of when I wanted to finish the book or how many days I thought it would take. Then I'm documenting when the rough draft began, which it was 11/1/21. I'm going to put in when I want the rough draft to be completed by, and then later I will say when I actually completed it so that I can see how long it took me. And then I will also put in other things that I was working on, like how many drafts did I need, how many books, like how many words did I actually write, because I've been known to throw out 20 or 30,000 words along the way. So that could be a possibility. So I'm going to keep all of that on that front page. Then this next section that you're seeing is just a basic sprint tracker. This is not like very much unlike the one that you have in your Preptober planner. I'm just kind of recreating it in a different, slightly different way here in this planner. So the first 2 little columns are kind of really skinny columns, and that is where I'm going to put the numbers. So sprint number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, so that I can number out the sprints. Then the second little tiny column is for the date. So 11/1, 11/2. Then I have a column for the current sprint, how much I wrote in the total for today, how much I've written total in the whole manuscript. And then that next box before the big one at the end is for how much I have left to write. So I'll take the total written and subtract it from 120,000 words so that I can keep an eye on how many sprints it takes me, what's my averages, and that sort of thing. Now, I did realize when I was going through and making these lines that I had not intended the lines to go all the way through that last box, which is for any kind of notes that I might want to have about how I was feeling when I was writing or anything like that. So I will go through later and put some white out on that. I also realized here when I started numbering the columns that I had 31 columns, and that is going to drive me crazy. So I'll use that very final line to put a total of how many sprints it took me or how many words I wrote and that sort of thing. But I just can't have 31 per line. Now, later I will actually go through and create several more pages because I'm anticipating, since my average word count is about 650 words per sprint, I'm estimating that it's going to take me between 175 and 180 sprints total to finish the entire book. I'm not planning to finish 120,000 words in November, but I would like to finish it by the end of January if possible. So you can see kind of starting to fill things out, and I will just fill out several more pages of those so that I can get to 180 sprints and then give myself a little bit of room to do more. I'm also going to have, after that, there will be, between that and this one that I'm doing with the purple tape, there will be a wrap-up page where I'm going to document after it's done how well I did, how close I got to my estimate, how long it took me, and that sort of thing. This next section is all about my characters. So I wanted to use washi tape that was in the colors that I have for my color coding, but you'll see later I just don't have enough washi tape with me to do it in color code. I also was going to use this Erin Condren brush pen, but I am not a good brush lettering person and I feel like I messed it up. So I'm probably going to redo the name Harper there, but I want to be able to put her name, age, appearance, but most importantly, for each character that I use here, I want to say what their story threads are or what their character arc has been so far, and just do a little bit of journaling about that. And then on the second page for each character, I will put what their arc and what their main purpose is for what they're doing in this book. So I'll have one for Harper, Jackson, and several other of the main POV characters. And then this page that you see, I've skipped a few pages that you just didn't see, is going to be a full character list where I'm going to list out the main characters that don't, I guess the most important side characters and where they are in this book, because there have been obviously a lot of characters throughout the entire series of 11 years that are going to be coming back and playing a role in this book. So I want to make sure that I have a list of those characters and what their roles are in this book. So that will go into that one section there. So this next part is where you'll start to see, I didn't set mine up exactly like hers, but if you go and look at Helen's YouTube, you'll see she does something similar like this with a 2-page spread. I think she's using a Moleskine notebook where she keeps track of her plot. And so I kind of readjusted it to fit my own needs, but thank you, Helen, for the inspiration. So this is going to be I'm going to do a 2-page spread per act or per section of the book. So this is Act 1. That first column is plot. The next column is for characters. And then the next one is the scenes. So in the plot section, I will put what plot point. Is this the argument against transformation? Is it the doorway? Is it the key event? That kind of thing. The characters will just be a list of what characters appear in that scene. And I am going to, I think, as I'm thinking through it, since I have 6 different points of view in this book, I have them all color coded. So each scene will go in the color code of the character that is the main point of view character. And then I have in that larger box on the first page, the scenes. So that will be a list of what's happening in the argument against transformation scene and so on. It'll just be kind of bullet points. Then I have a section for conflict, which is going to be what's the main conflict of that section, a section for what's the purpose of this scene, like what are we really seeing accomplished. And sometimes a purpose will just be a character development or a relationship, or it could be setting things up for later. Then I have an estimated word count and an actual word count. So all of that will be there for Act 1. Then I set up another spread for Act 2, Part 1. And I just went ahead and skipped it, but later I do go back and fill out Act 2, Part 2 and Act 3. And I left a spread in between each just in case I need to redo it or leave notes on each one. Then this section is kind of the final section of the notebook in terms of the setup, and that is the daily journal. And this I'm pretty excited about doing because I've been tracking this daily journal inside Notion, but I feel sometimes so disconnected when I'm not handwriting it. I spend so much time on my typewriter, well, I mean, I say typewriter, but I mean laptop keyboards and stuff, writing the actual book itself. But I love when I'm journaling about my thoughts or how things were going, or I'm checking things off. I get so much more satisfaction when I'm actually doing it by hand. And so you can see I brought out my other journal because I was using an empty page from my tarot journal to sort of sketch out how I wanted this page to look. And it might evolve over time. But basically, I've got the date there. I have the goal for the day versus the actual for the day. The starting point. Sorry, I've got a baby in here. The starting point versus the ending point of the day, or, for the whole manuscript. How many sprints did I actually do for the day? And how much time did I spend? Then over here, what I'm creating with these little boxes is something that I got from inspiration from, I saw it from Natalie Norwood, but she got it from Sarah McLean, which is a word count tracker where you're using it box for every 100 words. And so I thought that is pretty genius, except that Sarah McLean has a beautiful one on her Instagram. If you want to go check it out, I'll link it down below, where she has it for the whole book. So for a 90,000 word novel, she's got a whole bunch of little, 100 word squares there. And it was just beautiful thing to behold. So I used to do something similar in my own bullet journal. I didn't track words by hundreds. I think I tracked them by 500s. I really can't remember. I'd have to go back and look through my old bullet journals, but I was thinking, man, it would be really fun to kind of get back to that. I'm off screen a little bit here because I'm searching for the right pen, so I'll find that in just a minute. But I also have boxes there, as you can see, for my intention for the day, which is going to be mostly just a little bit of journaling to say, today I hope to set up my new journal, or today I'm going to write from 2 to 4, or whatever my intention, and I will fill that out the night before. Then I also have a place for the scenes that I'm going to write for the day. So that'll just be a bullet point of what scenes I'm writing in some kind of little, description of what it's going to be. Then I have a section at the bottom for notes, which is going to be just how I felt writing for the day, or what I'm going to write tomorrow, and just a setup for that. And since I didn't get a chance to write again on the 7th, because I was obviously setting all of this stuff up and so forth, I just set up this as an example day so that I would have a reference to look back on, and so that you guys could see how I plan to use it. But that first part I would write, if I had a goal of 2,000 words, but then I only wrote 1842, I would write 2000/1842. And then I'd write my starting word count for the day and my ending word count, how many sprints I got, and how much time I spent. I have a block there for the intention for what I'm going to write. So you can see there, I said, today I hope to set up my new journal. I can do sprints from 1 to 3 this afternoon. And then my scenes and my notes there at the bottom. And then I plan to keep track of the word count there by filling in those squares every 100 words that I write. And I plan to fill out the intention and the goal and the starting point before, the night before, and then everything else I'll fill out on the day. And sometimes I might include photos or other little things that happen throughout the day, or where we're traveling from. And once this daily journal section is once the rough draft is completed, I'll probably have a new word tracker that will go for the second draft. And then I'll have another one for the third draft, or however many drafts there are. And I will track my editing process in here, how many back and forths with my editor, when I got it back, when I sent it out, those kind of things. And I will just keep track of all of that in this lovely new journal. So let me know what you think. So I am going to give you one final flip through of the finished journal, and this will be a work in progress, but I'm hoping it's going to be a great tool. So I also do have a monthly giveaway. I don't have a physical notebook to send out to you, but again, I am going to offer a $25 gift card to either Amazon or Barnes & Noble. So if you're here in the US and you prefer a Barnes & Noble gift card so you can go and get one of these journals, or any books that you want to read or anything like that, you go ahead and enter to win by commenting down below, and I will pick a winner on Friday this week. So all you have to do is comment down below. Everyone is welcome to enter, and good luck. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that look inside the writing journal. I hope it's gonna be a really good tool. I took the time to sort of figure out, if I took a few days to work on the plot and then we move again on Tuesday to a new house, so I have a reduced word count that day, what would that put my daily word count needing to be? And it actually goes from 1840 to needing like 2105. And I feel like for me, anything below 2500 or even 3000 is completely doable and achievable for a daily word count. Maybe if I had a night or two that I end up with 10,000 words and I get lucky like that, I don't know if I'll be able to do that on the road, but we'll see. Then I could end up hitting my goal, no problem. 3,000 words though, I don't want to push myself to needing that on a daily basis, but I feel like 2105 is doable for me. So I'm taking the extra days to plot, and I'm not going to lose momentum. I'm going to keep working on the story. I think the only big mistake you can make if you say, oh, I'm not sure where to go, I'm feeling stuck, is to just give up entirely. Because the truth is, even if you don't end up with 50,000 words over the course of this month, if you end up with 20,000 words, that's 20,000 words more than you had when the month began. And I know that sounds kind of like, oh, but I wanted to win. And some of us are competitive and, we're go-getters and we want to win. But really, you're winning if you're writing and you're working on your story. But if you're still hanging in there for the 50K, let me know how it's going down in the comments. Okay, so I did promise you that I had a second book recommendation. I'm actually gonna have a third because there's just so many good books right now. But this is a book called Trial of Lightning by Rebecca Rowanhorse. If that will... Y'all, my phone is so smashed up. But this is another Native American author, and it is read by Tanis Parento if you want to check out the book on Audible. Also, you can get a free trial to Audible. You can get one free book, so go check it out. This is the publisher's summary of the book. The sudden rising waters of a climate apocalypse have destroyed most of the planet, yet out of these waters, Dainita, a former Navajo reservation, has been miraculously reborn. Listen along as Tanis Parento's impeccable narration, capturing the rhythms of Navajo speech, fully envelops you into the sixth world. When Dainita needs help finding a missing girl, Maggie, a monster hunter and supernatural killer, is its last best hope. Trial of Lightning follows our heroine as she walks the land alongside gods, heroes of legend, and monsters alike. Reluctantly, she enlists the aid of an unconventional medicine man, and together they travel Dainita, unraveling clues from ancient legends and trading favors with tricksters. As Maggie discovers the truth behind the killings, she will have to confront her past if she wants to survive, for what she uncovers about the monster she is sent to find is much more terrifying than anything she could imagine. So this sounds good. I picked it up in Audible to hopefully get a chance to actually read it. This one came out in 2018, but there are more books in that series. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing Dainita, but I looked it up online. I'm sure as I listen to it on the audiobook, I will definitely get it right. But this one looked really good and was one that was highly recommended by Native American authors. Another, just want to throw a shout out to my friend Kwana Jackson. Her new book, How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days, is also on shelves, and I saw it at Barnes & Noble, but I can't afford to pick up too many more actual physical paperbacks, so I have grabbed it in ebook, and I'm so excited to read this book. I remember when she was first talking about it, I was like, okay, yes, I have to read this book. So congratulations to Kwana. I am very excited for you. So you will find her under K.M. Jackson, and this is an awesome book. She is not a Native American author, but she is a Black author from our community. So definitely give her a chance. If you have not read any of her books yet. She also has another series that I've recommended before. The first book is called Real Men Knit. So I will put all of those links, all of those websites down below for you. Let me know what you think of the journal. Is it procrastination, or do you think it'll actually be helpful to me? Have you done something similar? How is your writing going? I hope that you guys are all having a great nano so far. So I will see you again tomorrow for day 8, and happy writing.